Hello, welcome to Spa 6 Hours. There's a 90-minute qualifying session that happens on the Friday. So 90 minutes of running to qualify the cars, then a full 6 hours of running split across 3 drivers. Me, Dad's here, the first time he's going to drive one of my cars in race conditions, super cool, and Gary Pearson. We're really looking forward to it. It's Friday today, so we've got it all to come. Qualifying to get us all qualified for the race, and then the race distance to come up tomorrow. So, party on. A 90-minute qualifying session. We've all got to do 3 laps total. Then, important to be within the top half dozen in terms of the grid, first 3 rows. So I'll do the best possible lap I can. Really hard to do though, because there's so much traffic out there. In general, what we try and do is do the most important bit first. So we do the qualifying, first and foremostly, of the drivers over 3 laps. And then sit and wait till all the sort of guys in the other classes who might not be trying to push for pole, just want to get in the race, all put their cars away. A lot of them won't want to drive in the dark at the end. We then tend to go for a qualifying lap at the end of the race. Gary's going to go out first, then obviously any issues with the car get reported. Then it's important to get Dad in because he hasn't driven this car since he tested it at Silverstone. Then I'll have a go, try and set a lap. If there's too much traffic, I'll come in and we'll wait for the end, and then I'll go again and try and set a lap. We're going out in what, about 40 minutes. morning, race day morning of the Spa 6 Hours, we have qualified 6th. I'm throwing the racing driver excuse book at it and saying that was traffic in qualifying. The smile's already there of, oh yeah, okay. We had a little bit too much oversteer as well, but it's a decent place to start the race for Superstar, who is going to be in at the beginning, and then it's a very long race from there.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the traffic situation because I saw plenty myself. 80 odd cars out on the track, a massive speed difference as well. You come across some in corners, don't you, and some beautiful looking cars, and it's like, right, because this car gathers speed so easily. It's so small and it's so nimble, isn't it? And you're suddenly you're 100 mile an hour closing speed, but it's good, and I really enjoyed it. The track was first time I've been around this track in that, and I thought it handled really well. We've given it a few tweaks, haven't we, for the race, just to calm the rear end of the car down a little bit. Yeah, I'm starting, so I haven't started a race for a few years. It's a really short run down the first corner anyway. I'll see how I just settle in. I've got to get an hour and a half at least into the race. That's the most important thing, isn't it? Ready for the fuel. We need a couple of fuel stops. But this weird situation, you told me about it before we came.
Yeah, you didn't quite engage with it before.
You have to stop at the petrol station in the middle of the circuit, and there could be a queue of cars. And I just find that bizarre. So you might do the most beautiful stint and lose 10 minutes at the petrol station.
But the race is dominated by that. So you can go a second, 2 seconds faster a lap, if you like, and then go and stand in the fuel station for 10, 15 minutes. So it's just, it becomes irrelevant, semi-relevant pretty quickly how quick you're going out on track beyond the broad spectrum.
And it's a long track. I mean, it's far and away the longest track on the Formula 1 circuit, for example. There seems to be cars on every corner, but so managing the track, but that's like Daytona or Le Mans or Nürburgring 24 hours. That's all part and parcel of a long distance race. 6 hours for one of these cars at the rate we're going to push them. It's a long way, isn't it?
Yeah, but isn't it cool to know what back in the day they had to deal with, right?
Yeah,
brakes,
4-hour race.
gearboxes, tyres, everything. It's I think probably this one is the closest you can get to what being an endurance driver was like back in the day, where you've got to trust the other guy to keep the gearbox under control, the tyres under control, and make fuel to the end of the race, because you've got no telemetry on any of that. So it should be really fun. We're about 2 hours away from the race start. As you can see, we're all very under control. So yeah, nothing's had a chance to go wrong yet. So we'll head on to the beginning of the race and see how that goes.
So we've lowered the rear of the car a little bit. He was having a bit of a problem with oversteer. The way Alex drives it, he stands the car on the nose quite a lot, which can make the back of the car a little bit unstable. So we've tried to make the back a bit more stable, and also done something with the front damper to kind of support the front, to stop it dropping so much. And but without totally compromising it, because we did a lot of changes from Le Mans, because we have to run a much heavier fuel load here. We're running on full tanks all the time, a lot of the time, whereas at Le Mans you're running a relatively low fuel load. So the car being heavier, it makes quite a big difference to it. Alex is much later on the brakes, and so puts a lot of temperature into the brakes, which then goes into the wheel and then goes into the tyre. And so that makes the front tyre heat up more, and makes the sidewall flex around a bit. Which is part of makes a part of the instability. So the changes that we've done are to sort of help that. It's very contrasting driving styles. It's the challenge of running a sports car when you've got 3 drivers who all drive differently and trying to get it good for all 3 cars. That's the tricky bit. I'm not an engineer, so I just do the nuts and bolts bit. But Andy Brown back at home, we were on the phone to him and spoke to him about what we should do, and he came up with some ideas, and yeah, we'll take it from there, and hopefully it all works. And they've all got a good car to drive then.
Loved it, hated it.
My goodness, I don't think I've ever had as much happen in 100 minutes in my career.
We can only see the timing screens. So you're up and down like this, and I'm like, this is going to be a great onboard because he's having a mental.
So I had a lovely start, and I went down the outside.
You got bumped off. We know that much.
I got bumped off by David Hart in the mustard.
Was that nose to tail or what?
No, on the first corner. No. So I went around there was somebody trying to go around the outside of me, but he was never going to. There wasn't enough space, and I thought, right, I'm just going to sit over here nicely, thank you.
Yeah.
And you could do whatever because they're all getting feisty down the inside, and inevitably David Hart then just comes across. So now I'm on the gravel.
Yeah.
And then I think somebody got squeezed behind me, the white one.
So you had two alongside each other, and it's the typical three, as I've heard, as I've not yet seen and I've heard. You've got the typical, he can't see you're there, and he's trying to squeeze him situation. Right. At which point he can see you're there, doesn't want to just crash into you, gives it steering wheel, which is the spin I'm presuming happens.
The white one
to your right.
Yeah,
which is
it hit our car quite hard.
Did it? Well, not nearly as hard as that car hit the wall.
I know. I saw it. I watched it in the mirror.
Yeah.
Just before the mirror went like that. So at your pit, can you do the tire? Can you do the tire pressures at the pit stop?
Yeah. You need to bleed them like
it's
oversteering, undrivable.
It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, we're full, so that yes.
Well, did they pit before us? Some of those because
some of them pitted short. So some people
so fast down the straights.
Some people came in like 1 hour into the race, and did a short.
Right. That explains then why I'm going up through Eau Rouge, and then this GT40 just comes at me and passes me.
Yeah. Ours is a 4.7 litre.
Okay. Right.
Ours is a 4.7 litre V8.
And that red one passed me coming down here, hit me up the back.
Just did not brake fade and brain fade and ran
into the right hander. He obviously must have hit the throttle. Bang. Oh man, yeah, that's just cars, oil. There's oil everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
I came up behind a Falcon at one point through the fast left, and the next thing is, I'm like, whoa, where's this going now? What happened? I think, I can't be in the turbulent air. And then I realised what it was because they started putting cement dust down 2 laps later. Oil on the
telltale smell normally that you could see because you can see it smoking.
But it came all the way back to the pits. But there's oil. There's basically oil everywhere. I overheat the brakes.
Yeah, me too. I did it in like 2 laps in qualifying.
So going by that Ginetta's ridiculously fast.
It's gonna win the race.
It surprised me at all. Yeah. And I could pull away from that, but every time there was a sniff of a Tripoli land battle going on in front of you, or an MG in the middle of Eau Rouge.
To be fair, it must be pretty well driven, but that'll pit once.
It's very well driven. I'm a bit amazed that doesn't.
The good news is Gary waltzed straight into the pit stand, put 100 litres of fuel in the car, and sodded off.
I thought, I'm not going to go in. I'm going to get really clever here.
Yeah.
So came Renegade, and the trucks arrived, and they're all talking about it. Then the tractor arrives. Then I see a guy trying to put a tyre behind the conveyor belt, and I'm like, I'm giving that sign, but I've no idea. I'm going like, and then I thought, right, you've aced this, Martin. There'll be nobody at the fuel pumps now.
And you did.
I kind of did, but then when I came through Fania, where there'd been a tractor, some people, shit, a breakdown truck, nothing.
Did you vaguely enjoy it?
No. I quite like coming in the pits at the end of the stick.
unfortunately. A couple of hours to go. I mean, it's one of those things where you've got to get smart. The oil pressure, which is obviously the lubrication for the whole engine, under load is dipping right down to 0 under hard load. I didn't have 0 all the time, it didn't drop right out, but it's dipping right down. And I boxed the car because it's just too easy. If you keep going, it will blow itself to bits, and yeah, smash itself to pieces. So yeah, you're gonna hear it. You just get a sense for these things. It wasn't happy, and oil pressure is God in these little engines. So yeah, a shame we couldn't finish, but that's the reality of historic racing. Dad got a decent go. We probably would have been somewhere in the top 6. I'm not sure we would have got a podium. In any case, it's almost in one bit and lives to fight another day. Probably needed an engine rebuild anyway, so let's do that now. Shame we couldn't get a Brundle podium in the Spa 6 hours, but yet again, this race eludes us, and it wasn't to be. Good fun anyway. Managed to scare myself in the dark and get a tiny bit sweaty. So, on to the next one.